Good evening. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Falcha, dobro pojalovat, mashalom ha, Huang Ying, Mulhall. Dobro doshli, and thank you for joining us this evening as we begin our second annual Sister Cities Conference. Despite not being able to gather tonight in person, we are so fortunate to be able to join together over the internet through this platform, Hopin, thanks to our most magnificent host, the Cleveland Public Library. At this time, please allow me to thank the people at the Cleveland Public Library, starting with CEO and Executive Director, Mr. Felton Thomas. Please allow us to thank Mr. Aaron Mason, Tristan Thompson, as well as Heidi Strickland, and a special thanks to Dr. Sadie Winlock for all of her support in helping make this happen. We are so fortunate to partner with the library and look forward to a long and fruitful relationship. At this time, I'd like to thank the City of Cleveland, specifically the 56th Mayor of the City of Cleveland, the Honorable Mayor Frank G. Jackson, Chief of External Affairs and International Affairs, Valerie J. McCall, as well as Mr. Alexander Lackey, who we're going to hear from shortly. But we want to thank them for supporting the continued outreach and partnership with our sister cities around the globe and with the international community here in Cleveland every single day. I also want to take a quick moment and thank Elizabeth Kuzma, who did a yeoman's job of organizing this year's conference. And I know she would want me to thank Jenica Gonzalez in our office, as well as Supriya Tamang, Nancy Janis, Michelle Carver, Colin Derrick, Esther Ngemba, and Rosarita DeMillo for all their support in helping make this happen. We also have a very special evening planned for you and an even more amazing week. Tomorrow's panels revolve around municipal and civic issues from civil society, featuring Mr. Heiser Khan, the incredible constitutional attorney, anti-hate activist, and Gold Star father. And then we follow with a water panel featuring scientists from around the world with their different approaches, talking all about how to maximize the use and well-being of our water resources globally. Thursday is our day of education with programming from our youngest elementary students, future ambassadors to be, through readings by children's book authors Fiona McEntee and LaDosha Wright, who will be speaking not only to the young people here, but to the young people who will be joining us in over 32 cities in 25 nations across 12 time zones around the globe, which is what this Sister Cities Conference will bring together. We will then pivot to our sister universities and how we can continue to work together through this pandemic. And I want to thank the board chair of Global Cleveland, the vice provost at Case Western Reserve for International Students International Affairs, Mr. David Fleschler, who will be a big part of that. Friday is our business development day, which includes a panel of local newcomer immigrant entrepreneurs and a panel about global business trade, followed by a panel about Mexican trade with Ohio, which conservatively is about $11 billion a year just with the state of Ohio. We have a panel on business incubators globally featuring experts from Zambia, Ghana, Mexico, China, and the United States. This year, we also have the most distinct honor of featuring many literary giants who are part of this conference. Through the incredible leadership of Karen Long at the Cleveland Foundation and the book week that is all about the Anisfield Book Awards, we will have conversations with Mr. Ilya Kaminsky, the winner for his book of poetry, The Deaf Republic, and Ms. Namwali Serpel, the winner for her fiction novel, The Old Drift. Sudanese-American poet Safia El Hilo and 12 Literary Arts will bring you an hour of poetry about the weight and opportunity of living in the hyphen. And while we face today together the challenge of both our time and the opportunity to come together, we also know that it is so important for us to be unified as we seek a more understandable and just world. For those of you who are joining us, Sister Cities began in 1947, when then General Eisenhower came home from World War II and realized that we had to do something in order to connect people to people. And in 1964, just 5 years after the last state was entered into the Union, Hawaii, in 1959, we embarked upon our first sister city relationship with the great city of Lima, Peru. These relationships have spanned decades, have spanned time, have spanned generations. And what they speak to is the togetherness of our international community. And while we are here in this most esteemed place of the library, it is so important to remember these three words: liberty, liberation, and library. all three which speak to us about shedding our ignorance and our misunderstanding of one another and embracing something which is what this Sister City Conference is all about. And this Sister City Conference is all about hope. A hope that our sister cities can come together, a hope for the end of this pandemic, and a hope for an economic recovery through understanding the relationships that we have here and around the world. It gives me great honor to introduce our very first speaker and the host of tonight, someone who is known to Clevelanders far-and-wide. He came here in 2009, but it feels like he's been here forever. And for the CEO of the library to turn this into the People's University every single day, he keenly understands and appreciates the importance of the sister cities. He hails from the great city of Las Vegas, and he's someone who, in addition to being an astute book reader and someone who shares his top list with us, is also somebody who plays music extraordinarily well. And the music today that he plays is the music of welcome. Please allow me to welcome our CEO of the Cleveland Public Library, Mr. Felton Thomas.
Thanks, Joe, and thank you for joining us for the second annual Sister Cities Conference. Cleveland Public Library was proud to host this event in its inaugural year, and is proud to host this event this year, albeit the changed circumstances we find ourselves in. Thank you to Global Cleveland and the City of Cleveland for nurturing the spirit of diplomacy, friendship, and shared prosperity that is the Sister Cities program. Cleveland Public Library is the People's University, the center of learning for a diverse and inclusive community. We serve everyone from our Cleveland residents to the residents of our state, nation, our sister cities, and their nations. The library is a special place in which opportunities for betterment and learning, where people can come to learn and discover something new. That is the spirit of this conference, and we are so glad you all have joined us here tonight. You will hear from several speakers and performers tonight, and from an entire host of experts over the next 3 days. I'm proud to announce that I will be leading a panel of sister and partner libraries on Thursday, October 1st at 11 a.m., joined by libraries in Mexico, Slovenia, Ireland, Israel, and Ohio. What a gift to all our international friends. Please know that you are most welcome here in Cleveland. While we may not be together in person, I'm so happy we were able to meet to use technology in a way that connects us and fosters stronger and deeper relationships. So please enjoy yourselves this week. I hope you learned something new and are inspired to pursue a project with one of our sister cities. I encourage all of you to use your local library as a resource for books, materials, reference, and more. As part of tonight's celebration, we will have a special ceremony honoring the 150th anniversary of Chinese immigration to Cleveland and the 100th anniversary of Mexican immigration to Cleveland, as well as musical performances by renowned Mexican harpist Cesar Sicandino and local pianist Shulamite Kopaninsky. Lastly, please join us as we close out the conference with a naturalization ceremony on Friday, October 2nd at 2 p.m. Thank you and enjoy the conference.
Director Felton Thomas, and thank you for all you do to make this a welcoming place every single day. Director Thomas wanted me to remind you that the international languages part of the main Cleveland Public Library is open, and with languages from all over the world, the availability to stay connected to wherever you're from or to learn a new language is always here. Next, I have the honor of introducing His Excellency, Mr. Daniel Mulhall, the Ambassador of Ireland to the United States of America. Ambassador Mulhall is someone well known to Cleveland, as he has visited us and spent some time here. Ambassador Mulhall was born in Waterford, and prior to coming to the United States, was the ambassador from Ireland to the United Kingdom. Ambassador Mulhall is known for many things, including being a great author, a centenary of Irish issues that just came out in 2016 in Modern Irish History. He's also known for his poetry. A few weeks ago, the good ambassador was kind enough to share from the Taoiseach, who is the Prime Minister in Ireland, something that spoke to me, and I wanted to share this with you as well. For it is in our togetherness that we make it forward and through. For it is only together that we will get past this time. and as a leader in international affairs and someone who is near and dear to the hearts of those in Cleveland, those who are Irish and not, please allow me to introduce His Excellency, Mr. Daniel Mulhall.
Conference, and I thank the organizers for the invitation to take part in your event. I visited Cleveland almost 3 years ago now, and my visit there left a mark on me. I've often talked about Cleveland in the time since I visited, and I look forward to coming back again before too long. The reason I speak about Cleveland is because it seems to me, from my experience of living in America now for 3 years and traveling all over the country, that America is a country whose dynamism is contributed by its cities. There is a sense in which America is a nation of city-states, of cities that have their own pride, their own civic orientation, their own sense of themselves. And I found Cleveland to be in that category. And it was a great privilege for me, for example, to visit the Cleveland Clinic and to see that in your American city, you've got a medical facility that is genuinely world-class and world-renowned. And wherever you go in the world, you mention the Cleveland Clinic, and it speaks of excellence in medicine and health care. I also, of course, very much enjoyed meeting the Cleveland Irish, and there are many of them. And those are people who came to Cleveland, for the most part, in the late 19th century. They were people who left Ireland at a time when our country was in the depths of despair in the decades after the Great Famine of the 1840s. And had things been normal in Ireland, people from Mayo, which is where most Clevelanders of Irish descent have their origins, would have gone to Dublin or Cork or Limerick and settled there. But because of the circumstances that affected Ireland at that time, people from Ireland, from Mayo in particular, from West Mayo especially, found their way to Cleveland and became part of the fabric of your city, as it is today and as it has been for generations past. You're a good example of a city that's had its challenges and its successes, and you've come through all of that, and I was impressed by the civic pride and the dynamism of your city, of your economy, and of your people. Now, today we're in a situation which is unprecedented in the last 100 years or more. In fact, there may never have been a situation quite like the one we're in at the moment, where the whole world is being hemmed in and curtailed by a dangerous virus which is spread like wildfire around our planet. And we all want to get back to normal life, or some version of it. Nobody wants this pandemic to last a minute longer than it needs to. But we do need to defeat this virus. And I have a sense that the cities of the world, including Cleveland and its sister cities, will be part of the solution to the problems thrown up by the COVID virus. The research into vaccines and therapies is going on in cities all over this planet, including, I'm quite sure, in Cleveland. And when we get through this situation, and I hope we get through it as soon as possible, and that we can minimize the loss of life from this virus. When we get through it, there will be a lot of work to be done in rebuilding our world, because it won't just snap back to where it was in January this year or December of last year. That world has been shattered and disrupted and torn apart by the virus and other challenges on the international agenda. So we will need to work together. And I believe that the spirit of sister cities, the spirit that runs through this conference, will be important in encouraging people to pool their talents, to work together rather than put asunder. And we do need to work together because there are no challenges, there are no issues on the global agenda that will not respond better to concerted international action than they do to individual efforts, no matter how brilliant those individual countries may be. Even the United States, with all of its great power and ingenuity and resources, will not be able to face and cope with the challenges that arise in today's world. The kind of health challenges that the pandemic has brought to the fore, issues of climate change, conflict issues, issues of inequality, issues of insecurity, all of these things can only be dealt with, and are certainly best dealt with, by an internationally cooperative effort, by bringing countries and cities together to tackle our issues together, and to bring our combined resources to bear in finding solutions to the problems that confront our world. So with that, I wish you all a very successful conference. I hope that the discussions here will move things in a positive direction, and that we will move forward as a people, as a global people, infused, inspired by the principles and the ideals that run through the Sister Cities International project, and that we will find the solutions we so desperately need for the problems that trouble us in today's world. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you all the very best for a successful conference.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Daniel Mulhall, the Ambassador to the United States from Ireland. A few days ago, Ambassador Mulhall tweeted a poem, as he's known to do, by the great Irish poet D. Iremonger. Summer flickers down, I know, but my darling, we have something on tap to tide us from year to year. We have a reserve of love, deep and free. And though winter comes, perhaps, invest in us. Here we have sustenance over and above our possible needs, till, like the trees of the coming spring, we blossom again. Our next speaker is someone who lives the ideals of hope and action every day. First elected to Cleveland City Council in 2005, entering City Council with his Master's in Social Work and his JD, but also someone so in tune with his own Irish heritage, is a master harpist and someone who continues to make people feel welcome from all over the world. The Council President of Cleveland City Council, Council President Kevin J. Kelley.
Joe, thank you very much for that warm introduction. I don't know if I'm a master harpist anymore, or there may be some diminishing skills going on, but I just would really like to welcome everybody to the second annual Sister Cities Conference. And I want to thank Felton Thomas, Cleveland Public Library, and Cleveland, and everybody that made this possible, because this really is a great event. And as the ambassador said, you know, we are stronger together. My name is Kevin Kelley. I am the president of Cleveland City Council, and I am proud to live in an international city. And I'm proud to live in a city that celebrates our diversity and our cultural richness. And I always love welcoming people to our great city, and I'm sorry that we are living under the conditions that we are, and we're not able to interact in the way that I would like to, because I just really love bringing people to our city and showing them all the great assets of our city, and more importantly, learning about them and where they're from. And that's really what makes things strong. And as I look across the nation, as I often do, and look at, you know, what's working for other cities and what makes cities great. And one thing is very common is that the cities that are growing the most, and I'm talking about not the Sunbelt cities, but the legacy cities that are still continuing to grow, are those cities that are the most welcoming. But the cities that really accept and embrace diversity and cultural richness and immigration and want more people in their community. Those are the cities that are really thriving. And I really, really respect and appreciate the role that Global Cleveland has in furthering that mission of becoming a global city, becoming a welcoming city. We want to be a welcoming city. We want to celebrate our cultural richness, but, you know, we also realize that our success, our international connections are essential to our prosperity in our post-COVID world that we all hope to achieve. We have to be talking to one another. We have to really forge those bonds between communities internationally that make us all stronger together. And that is the point of the Sister Cities Conference and the real value of having sister cities and working internationally. Our current and future prosperity, we can't live on islands anymore. We can't just have our success is dependent on other people's success. And as a nation, as a city, as a nation, we're all dependent on each other to come up with a post-COVID economy, a formula for success that involves everybody. And I really believe that these conversations, these alliances, these sister cities, just the theme of it and the spirit of it is really going to equate to more prosperity and a healthier world to come. So I look across the city of Cleveland, and I'm very proud of the fact that we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, Dingus Day. Our cultural gardens are a wonderful asset. And the theme that we have to really keep our focus on all the time is we can't just celebrate our own cultural heritage. I can't just celebrate my Irish heritage. We have to celebrate and appreciate and love and respect and welcome everybody's heritage. And we have to do so in a spirit of togetherness. And we have to do so knowing that we're all in this world together. Climate change doesn't stop at borders. Poverty doesn't stop at borders. We have to all work together to make this the world we want it to be. And the work of Global Cleveland, the Sister Cities Conference, all of these things strengthen our bonds, and it's really going to build a better world for my children and my grandchildren. So again, Joe, thanks so much for inviting me. I really, really appreciate the work of Global Cleveland, and just want to welcome everybody to Cleveland, and anybody who might have been here but for COVID-19, please, let's schedule that event where we can all get together. So Joe, thank you so much, and let's have a great conference.
Thank you so much, Council President Kelley. Thank you for your support and your leadership. Council President Kelley talked about the leadership. Many of you know that our Cleveland Public Library just celebrated its 150th birthday. What people don't know is that this library was the first library in the United States to allow patrons to take the books from its esteemed shelves to take them home. And that is the spirit of the Sister Cities, that for everyone who participates, they'll take something and take it home and into their hearts. We would not be able to provide a free conference as we do today, but for the support of our incredible board of Global Cleveland directors, many of whom are on this hop-in platform right now. We'd also like to thank the Cleveland Public Library, Platform Beer Company, the Downtown Cleveland Alliance, and Supply Side USA. We're here because of the support of Margaret W. Huang Associates, Team NEO through the Jobs Ohio Network Partnership, Growth Ops, Eaton, and the Rotary Club of Cleveland. We're sincerely grateful to 12 Literary Arts, the Council of International Programs USA, Taiwan Sister Cities, the law firm of Ulmer, and of course the support of the Cleveland Foundation, the City of Cleveland, and the Cuyahoga County. We are so appreciative for all of their support, and please help us thank them for allowing us to make this happen in order for everyone, like the library books, to be able to be enjoyed by all regardless of income. Our next speaker, and a board member of Global Cleveland, and someone who's known throughout the planet for his work in healthcare and his diplomacy, is none other than this international man of distinction and the Director of Global Patient Services at the Cleveland Clinic. Please allow me to welcome Dr. Nizar Zein. Dr. Zein.
Thank you, Joe, for your kind introduction. Thank you, Global Cleveland, for this amazing conference, Elizabeth, everyone for the organizing this sister city meeting. These are unusual times, what we call it the COVID times, time of a pandemic. It is clear to all of us going through now this pandemic that it is a demonstration of the universal nature of human challenges, human sufferings, and human aspirations. It is something that is shared globally, and that makes this conference also even more timely than ever. I would like to express my gratitude to the city of Cleveland, our beloved city, that have supported the establishment of Sister City concept many decades ago. thank you to Cleveland Public Library for giving everyone the platform, a neutral platform, to hold this meeting on the basis of mutual respect and admiration. I am an immigrant, as you can easily tell from my accent, who have chosen Cleveland to be my home nearly 20 years ago, a decision that I will make over and over if time goes back. I am also lucky to have had the chance to work at the amazing organization here in Cleveland, the Cleveland Clinic, where I am able to I'm able to pursue my passion in caring for patients in medicine and in innovation. It has also been an amazing place for me to be part of creating a culture of empathy for foreigners who seek medical care in any of our facilities in Cleveland and elsewhere. Cleveland Clinic is a 100-year-old organization that started right here in the city of Cleveland and had since expanded both in Northeast Ohio and in Florida. More recently, the Cleveland Clinic became a global organization where we have physical facilities in Canada, in Toronto, Canada, in London, England, and in Abu Dhabi in United Arab Emirates, with plans for additional global engagements and expansion. These global experiences we had over the past 10 or 15 years had really, again, helped us understand that the overall human experience is a universal one. It is my honor as a member of the board of directors, or probably the newest member of the board of directors of Global Cleveland, to welcome you all and to the support that we have received and to learning from all of you over the coming few days. Thank you very much, and thank you, Joe, again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zein, and thank you for your leadership and also for reminding us of that most important of empathy. And thank you for living that every single day. Our next speaker is someone who's known to people throughout the globe for his advocacy for the LGBTQ community, his efforts in sustainability here and throughout the United States, in wind and in solar, someone who's leading the charge with Say Yes, which is helping Cleveland Metropolitan School District students achieve their college dreams, and someone who always supports the arts. He is the champion of those who are bullied, and he is a daily fighter against the institution of systemic racism that plagues our city, our nation every day. He's someone who always welcomes international visitors, not only into the Cleveland Foundation, but into his office. And I've had the personal privilege of being part of 2- and 3-hour meetings as our next speaker makes people understand our community, but also, more importantly, helps them to feel welcome. The CEO and the president of the Cleveland Foundation, Mr. Ronn Richard.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to join this lineup of esteemed speakers to help kick off this year's Global Cleveland Sister Cities Conference. This conference is a celebration of the ties that bind all of us as global citizens. Although international travel has been restricted due to COVID-19, this shared crisis is a reminder of just how interconnected our world is and of the importance of international relations and diplomacy as we work and learn together in response to this latest challenge. Diplomacy, whether conducted through professional diplomats or everyday citizens, is the greatest tool for human advancement. When we work together, we not only get to know one another, but also gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the human condition. I began my career as a U.S. Foreign Service officer before moving to the private sector and eventually to the philanthropic sector in my current role as president of the Cleveland Foundation. The experiences and knowledge that I acquired in the Foreign Service have been invaluable to me throughout my career. If we truly wish to make an impact in the world, we must step outside of our own lived experiences to understand people from backgrounds and cultures that differ from our own. At the Cleveland Foundation, we have prioritized projects that strengthen our city's connections with people and communities around the world through artist residencies, medical research collaboratives, leadership development programs, and many other initiatives. We are proud to support partners like Global Cleveland, working throughout the year to attract, to welcome, and connect international newcomers to economic, social, and educational opportunities in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. The Sister Cities Conference is a wonderful extension of Global Cleveland's work, bringing all forms of diplomacy and cooperation together. The modern Sister Cities concept was created in the aftermath of World War II in an effort to remind one another of our common humanity and to strengthen our connections across national borders. That mission remains just as important today as we face new global threats, such as climate change. During this week's conference, you will see examples of diplomacy in different forms. High school students working together, doctors sharing best practices for combating COVID-19, and innovators from around the world sharing their work. It was wonderful to hear from Ambassador Danielle Mulhall of Ireland earlier in the program. Cleveland is proud of our continued strong relationship with County Mayo and the island of Achill, where many Irish families here in Northeast Ohio hail from. This evening, I have the pleasure and honor of introducing two esteemed diplomats who we will hear from shortly. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe is Consul of Mexico in Michigan and Northern Ohio, a position he has held since 2017. Mr. Gonzalez Saiffe is a career diplomat. Prior to his arrival in Detroit, he served as head of political and multilateral affairs at the Embassy of Mexico in Canada. Although Cleveland does not yet have a Mexican sister city, we do have a long and rich history with the country. Our neighbor, Rocky River, established a sister city relationship with Pátzcuaro, Mexico in 1965. And this year marks the 100th anniversary of Mexican immigration to Cleveland, which we will celebrate later in the program. Oh, and by the way, Consul Gonzalez Saiffe, you might be interested to know that that map on the wall just behind me is a 200-year-old map of Mexico, which shows Texas as a province of Mexico. And it's something that I cherish for its historical significance. After Mr. Gonzalez Saiffe, we will hear from Director General Eric Huang of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago. Director General Huang has a diplomatic career of more than 20 years. He served 2 tours, respectively, in Singapore and Canada, before coming to Chicago as head of Taiwan's mission to the US Midwest. He has worked in various departments in Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Cleveland has a wonderful sister city relationship with Taipei City, Taiwan. And I certainly have many wonderful memories of my various trips to Taiwan. We are so fortunate that Mr. Gonzalez Saiffe and Director General Huang have joined us for today's program. I'd like to close my remarks by thanking Global Cleveland for hosting this conference, especially in the current circumstances. It's wonderful that we can come together through this virtual platform just when we need it most. I look forward to seeing the projects, programs, and relationships that will emerge from this year's Sister Cities Conference. Thank you all and enjoy the conference.
Thank you so much, CEO and President of the Cleveland Foundation, Mr. Ron Richard. Mr. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe is scheduled to be joining us. He's having a minor technical glitch. So we are going to introduce next our next speaker, who this year gifted 3,500 masks to the city of Cleveland, masks just like the one that I'm wearing, by the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago. These masks were shared with immigrants, refugees, and newcomer groups around the region. And it is because of this bond with our sister city in Taipei, and because of the relationship that we have with our brothers and sisters across the globe, that we were able to provide these masks through the generosity of Taipei and the leadership of Mayor Jackson to our community. It is now my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce Director General Eric Huang of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago. Director Huang.
First, I would like to thank the host, Cleveland Public Library. Thank you for organizing this event, and thank you for having me here today. On behalf of the government of Taiwan, I would like to wish each and everyone here good health and prosperity. And on behalf of the city of Taipei, which is the capital of Taiwan, and the sister city of Cleveland, I would like to thank the government and people of Cleveland for promoting sister city relationship between Taipei and Cleveland. Because of the pandemic, this year is a tough year. For many countries, Taiwan is also hit by COVID-19. However, as Taiwan has been so successful in containing the virus due to the great joint efforts of the people and the multiple levels of governments in Taiwan, including the central government and the city government of Taipei. Today, Taiwan has only about 500 confirmed cases. We are also helping other countries. The government of Taiwan has donated more than 55 million Taiwan-made high-quality surgical and N95 masks to more than 80 countries around the world, including more than 100,000 masks that my office has donated to the state of Ohio. This shows Taiwan's care and friendship for the people of Ohio and Cleveland. Taipei has one of the largest high-tech industrial clusters in the world. The city itself is also a globally recognized smart city. According to the Switzerland-based IMD, the newest Smart City Index 2020, Taipei City is ranked as the 8th smartest city among 109 major cities in the world. Taipei City also hosts one of the second largest, if not the largest, Smart City Expo event in May every year, and we invite Cleveland to send a representation to join the Taipei Smart City Expo in the future and work with Taipei on smart city initiatives. We hope that the relations between Taipei and Cleveland will not only be sister cities, but also smart cities in the future. We also would like to share with the participants today that we are looking forward to more cultural exchanges between Taipei and Cleveland. In January of this year, before the pandemic hit Ohio, my office helped the Chinese Academy of Cleveland to organize a dance performance during the halftime show of the NBA Cleveland Cavaliers basketball game against the Chicago Bulls. They performed a Taiwanese indigenous people's dance and the techno dance of Nizar deity, a beloved protective deity in Taiwan, to celebrate the Lunar New Year and the sister city relationship between Taipei and Cleveland. The performers received a very warm applause from about 10,000 spectators. We are looking forward to more cultural and economic changes between Taipei and Cleveland. Thank you, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Huang, and thank you for your leadership of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Chicago. We are honored to be a sister city with Taipei, and we're grateful for your support and your participation and your generous donation of masks. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, in celebration and gratitude for our southern neighbor of Mexico, we will now hear from Mr. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe, His Excellency, the Consul General of Mexico in Michigan and Northern Ohio. As we noted earlier, this is the 100th anniversary of the Mexican immigration to Cleveland, and we are thrilled that we are able to have Mr. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe to present to us his words of greetings for our Sister City Conference. Mr. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe.
Hello, I'm Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe, Consul of Mexico in Michigan and Northern Ohio. I'm really happy to participate in Global Cleveland in the Sister Cities Conference 2020 to recognize today the centennial anniversary of the presence of Mexicans in Cleveland. This anniversary coincides paradoxically with our Mexican consulate celebrating also its 100-year anniversary. This is an occasion to remember and render tribute to the first Mexicans that arrived to Ohio and Cleveland at the beginning of the last century. Most were agriculture temporary workers and immigrants that came due to the social crisis and the economic crisis from the Mexican Revolution, from the expansion of the industrial industry in the first decade of the 20th century, and of course, for the need of new workers due to the workers' shortage caused by World War I. Slowly, just as many European immigrants, Mexican immigration started to contribute since its origins to the economic, social, and cultural development of Ohio and the Midwest. As our community keeps growing, we find in the streets more and more Mexican restaurants, bakery shops, supermarkets, streets decorated with Mexican flair, and the background music in Spanish in many locations. Our cultures and traditions are alive in Ohio, and many have been adopted by local community, such as the Cinco de Mayo celebration to celebrate the Battle of Puebla and Hispanity while enjoying a good margarita and the guacamole. September the 16th is the day of our National Independence Day, where we have a big celebration with the community each year, and the Consul of Mexico raises our flag to remember the heroes that fought for our homeland. The Day of the Dead, one of the most important traditions for Mexicans, where our loved ones who have passed away are honored. So we have a lot to celebrate today. 100 years of brotherhood and cooperation. 100 years in which our trade keeps growing, our people understand each other better, and we have a lot of binational families as the way. As the idiosyncrasy of Mexico, its food, traditions, and values permeates and lives in Cleveland and Ohio. And conversely, the culture of Ohio lives in every Mexican living here. Today, I want to recognize the great contributions that Mexican and Mexican Americans provide to the local economy and culture. We are proud of our Mexican community living in Cleveland and the US. Congratulations to Comité Mexicano of Cleveland, the City of Cleveland, and Global Cleveland. Let's celebrate the power of diversity, of tolerance, and of cooperation for the benefit of our people and communities. Que viva México!
Thank you so much to our Consul General of Mexico for Michigan and Northern Ohio, Mr. Fernando Gonzalez Saiffe. We appreciate you so very much. Our next speaker is someone who's known to every person in Cleveland for his advocacy on behalf of Mayor Frank G. Jackson. I can tell you that our mayor has done more to welcome the international community to City Hall and been at more events for the international community than anyone I know. His dedication and leadership with Chief Valerie McCall extends to the incredible International Affairs Manager, Mr. Alexander Lackey, who is here now to discuss his greetings as well as share something for the Chinese community of the city of Cleveland. Mr. Alex Lackey.
Thanks, Joe, for that warm welcome, and thanks, Global Cleveland, for bringing everybody together during a pretty difficult time. I was doing some background reading for the Chinese history, and I noticed a lot of the Chinese people are from Guangdong province, which I think explains why we have such good dim sum restaurants here in Cleveland. So I have a proclamation here on behalf of Mayor Jackson, and I'm going to digitally present it. So this is kind of new for everybody. On behalf of the citizens of the city of Cleveland, I am pleased to present this proclamation in recognition of the 150th anniversary of Chinese migration to Cleveland. We recognize that the Chinese came to escape prejudice and persecution on the West Coast, but many face the same prejudices here. We recognize the first Chinatown that was on West 3rd Street and Ontario Street in downtown Cleveland, which was demolished to make way for city projects, and the new second Chinatown on Rockwell Avenue built up by the On Lyon Association and other entrepreneurs, which is now what we consider Chinatown. Chinese immigrants and Chinese Americans are educators and students in our educational institutions, and key distributors of Cleveland's strong medical community as doctors, as civic leaders, and as entrepreneurs, lawyers, and artists. Now, therefore, I, on behalf of the 56th Mayor of the City of Cleveland, Mayor Frank G. Jackson, do hereby offer this proclamation in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Chinese migration to Cleveland. I invite all citizens to join me in thanking the Chinese community for their commitment to Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your leadership, Mr. Lackey, and it gives me an incredible honor and privilege now to leave the stage to ask Mr. Jason Lin, the president of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Society, to receive this most esteemed proclamation from Mayor Jackson. Mr. Lin.
First of all, we'd like to congratulations for the sister city, the second year anniversary. And also I would like to express our appreciation from the city of Cleveland, the council, the Global Cleveland, and all the organizations to make this event so successful. And as our agenda for the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Society, we have been established the history since 1940. And beyond that would be our ancestors that arrived in Cleveland more than 150 years ago. And we are continue to organize and support for the local newcomer, immigrant, and also for our young generation to continue to working and make their dream come true in this country. And as myself, as a refugee from Vietnam, and I can receive so many helping hand from the local community and give us a pleasure now can be repaid for the city of Cleveland and for the community. So we hope that we will continue to work together to give a helping hand for all the newcomers and also the refugee, and especially for the service people that come to this country. So I would like to again express my appreciation from our organization for the Global Cleveland and organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lin. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Lackey, for this wonderful presentation. And I know Councilman Bashir Jones extends his thanks and gratitude as well to the Asian community and specifically to the Chinese community Cleveland. We're very fortunate too to have the first Latina from Cleveland City Council who wanted to join us tonight but wasn't able to do so, Councilwoman Jasmine Santana. She wanted to be with us to send her warmest regards and congratulations to the Mexican community on their auspicious event tonight of 100 years being in Cleveland. Please allow me again to introduce on behalf of Mayor Frank G. Jackson, the City of Cleveland Government and International Affairs Manager, Mr. Alexander Lackey. Mr. Lackey.
So we have a nice proclamation for Comité Mexicano. This is a really cool group. I've spent a lot of time volunteering with them personally and helping with the initial stages of getting a new cultural garden built. So looking forward to see that happen. On behalf of the citizens of the City of Cleveland, I am honored to offer this proclamation celebrating the 100th anniversary of Mexican immigration to Cleveland, Ohio. In the 1940s, many Mexicans in Cleveland and Lorain supported the World War II effort through their work in our steel mills. This small but dedicated community, organized through Club Azteca, which is located in the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood, from the 1930s through the 1990s. Today, Cleveland's Mexican community is led by Mexicano de Cleveland, which organizes Cleveland's contemporary Mexican community and promotes Mexican culture and education in the greater Cleveland metropolitan area. We recognize the leaders of Comité Mexicano de Cleveland, the Mexican members of Hola, Ohio, and the Mexican business people, educators, and artists that represent and enrich the Mexican community in Cleveland. Now, therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Frank G. Jackson, the 56th mayor of the city of Cleveland, do hereby offer this proclamation celebrating the 100th year anniversary of Mexican migration to Cleveland. I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing the accomplishments and contributions of Mexican Americans in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you.
Hello.
And please allow me to introduce Mr. Ray Esparza, President of the Comité Mexicano of Cleveland. Mr. Esparza.
Hello. Thank you, Joe. First of all, I want to congratulate Global Cleveland for this fabulous event of the second annual Sister Cities Conference here in Cleveland. And thank you, Alex, for the introduction. Yes, it's we've been working also some time with Alex in the Mexican Culture Garden. So Comité Mexicano would like to take a moment to thank Global Cleveland for taking the moment and acknowledging the 100-year anniversary of immigration into Cleveland of our Mexican colleagues. Also, I want to give a big thank you to the City of Cleveland, Mayor Frank Jackson, for its support, not only to the Latino and Hispanic community, but to everyone, including the Mexican community. And finally, I would like to, or the Comité Mexicano would like to, or want to invite our Mexican community to join us in participating in the development of arts and culture presentations around Cleveland, the Cleveland city, in supporting the events with our rich arts and culture, and continue developing the great business that has been developing here in Cleveland, Ohio. So thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity from all the members of Comité Mexicano de Cleveland.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ray Esparza, and thank you so much, Comité Mexicano, and thank you, Mayor Jackson and Mr. Alexander Lackey, for making these events so special. Viva la Mexico! It gives me a great pleasure to now bring us to the concluding part of our program, and this is only possible with the partnership that we have with the Comité Mexicano and Midtown Cleveland, Asiatown Cleveland. We're fortunate tonight to bring you not one but two incredible musical performances to celebrate this joint 250 years of immigrant greatness, Chinese and Mexican greatness here in Cleveland. It is my honor to welcome to the stage from Mexico City 2018, winner of the World Harp Competition, and someone who gives our own council president, Kevin Kelley, a run for his money on the harp, Mr. Cesar Secundino. Bienvenido, señor.
Hello, I'm Cesar Secundino. Thank you for this great opportunity. I want to introduce you my friends. I have a little surprise for you. There will be in percussion playing Rudy Cervantes, and on bass Jimmy. Let's do. We are going to play a song that I wrote this year. It is called Elias.
Much, Mr. Cesar Secundino, and thank you to your bandmates. What a super performance. Muchas gracias por todos, señores. And finally, our local Taiwanese American world-known pianist and a member of the VIOS project. Please let's give a warm Global Cleveland Sister Cities welcome to Shulamite Konopinski. Ms. Konopinski. conference. Again, I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Cleveland Public Library and all of our sponsors for helping us make this kickoff in Sister City so great. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we'll have our mayoral panel, and we're going to hit the ground running with 21 different panels happening across the globe in 12 different time zones. We really appreciate it, and we thank you. We're so grateful for your participation. This concludes the opening ceremonies tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being a part of this conference. We very much appreciate you. Stay well.